college football. That's what's going to happen. So.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
Yeah, so we'll put that back on real quick. Do you guys got anything y'all want to cover? I kind of gave you a rundown what we're going to hit tonight. Was there anything that I didn't tell you guys in the pre-show that maybe y'all want to hit on? So we get to it right now. Anything at all?
Nothing on the top of my mind.
Okay, good deal, man. Well, let's jump right into it, man. Listen, there's a couple things that happened today that I'm not very. I don't want to say I'm unhappy about, but it kind of we seen some of this coming. Like this one here, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. We talked about how the Packers would have roster moves where they would have people on the 53, and then within 24 to 48 hours, they will cut them loose and then try to sneak them onto the practice squad, right? And this one right here, Micah Robinson, the Packers have released him. According to Bill Huber earlier today, the Packers have released Micah Robinson. He'll have to go through waivers. If he does, he could become the 16th or 17th on the practice squad. Now, listen, they signed Nick Niemann. I think I'm saying that right. Or would you say Neiman there, Jacob? What do you think there? N-I-E.
I think I'd say Neiman, but who knows?
Okay.
Hello, Neiman.
There you go. So we'll hit on him a little bit. I want to get your all's take on the Micah Robinson release there. How do we feel about that? Do you think he'll clear waivers? Think we'll get him back on the practice squad? How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, they did enough research on him. I would think that they would want to bring him back. And he made the 53, so you would think that they would want to bring that and put him right back on there to kind of churn him.
Yeah, I think it's just like positioning, right? It's probably why they put him on the 53.
Yeah.
Then a release, then a sign. Hopefully we'll get that soon.
Like Emilio mentioned in the pre-show, it's like, so that voids the 4-year, right? The 4-year contract of being a draft pick. It does. However, if he makes it back on the practice squad, let's say he finishes the year on the practice squad, you sign him to a futures deal that'll reset where you've essentially got his rights for 3 more years. So you really don't lose a year there. And you don't have to worry about it. I don't think there's any guaranteed money sacrificed in regards to a 7th round pick, if I remember correctly. So I think he's a player they do want back on the practice squad. This is just one of those moves that they were afraid someone would swoop him up. And now you let everybody else fill their roster. You got a better chance of just sneaking him onto the practice squad as they've already filled their 53. So let's talk about the linebacker they signed here. This one was kind of intriguing, man. I'd never heard of this guy. And I want to get your all's take on it. I know, Jacob, this is kind of your specialty, man. You love these type of signings right here, kind of under the radar, if you will. So the Packers released Micah Robinson and signed linebacker to their 53-man roster per Matt Schneidman. The Packers signed Neiman, to their 53, all right? And as Mike Garafolo points out, this was the interesting part for me. He says the Texans are releasing linebacker Nick Neiman, a special teams contributor who signed a 2-year, $6 million deal with the team in March. Neiman's contract included $3 million guaranteed this season and $1 million in full guarantees next year as well. So it's kind of odd. Why would you give him that money and then cut him loose? Of course, that's why the Houston Texans are the Houston Texans, I guess, right? Making decisions like that. But nonetheless, we got a little bit of PFF information here. Probably hard for you guys to see. I'll see if I can read it here. So essentially, throughout his career, starting in 2021, he had a 54, 67, 71, and 71. So the last couple of years now, in 2023, he had 247 snaps. In 2024, he only had 44 snaps, so probably a little banged up in that regard. He's 6'3", 244. He's an Iowa Hawkeye, and he was drafted in the 6th round initially. So what's your all's take on this, man? As Drew D says, why are we signing Neiman when Welch played so well? What more does Welch have to do to make the roster? This goes hand in hand with the Micah Robinson talk, Drew. Welch is back on the practice squad, so you got them both. So they kind of gambled a little bit on Welch, and we'll get to the practice squad roster here in a second. But this is one of those deals where you end up getting them both. If that makes sense. So, what's y'all's take on it?
Well, to me, it just seems like kind of a Goody type guy that fits this mold, especially like I believe somebody else just commented that he's a special teams ace. Respect Oranges coming in here with saying Neiman has a 9.51 RAS, ran a 4.51 40. I mean, that to me fits pretty perfect with what we want to do here. We were all a little shocked with having only 4 linebackers on the 53. And then, it felt like we just maybe needed to bolster the special teams a little bit more. And he's a guy that maybe, with some injury could step in and actually produce. And he's got experience. I know I watched in Goody's press conference, he was talking about that he just the reason we let go of Algersma is because it sounded like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said he just wasn't quite where we want him to be. He didn't have enough experience, whereas Clifford had, a little too much. This guy is kind of that sweet spot where he's been in the league. He's seen what it's like to be on an NFL roster, sees what it's like to be in the offseason, go through it. So I think he just kind of fits the bill. It does suck. I'd love to have Welch on the team, and I thought he did earn it, but I'm excited to see what this kid can do.
Yeah, and we do have the special teams grade. I'm going to go ahead and edit this article right now so everybody's got it in real time. It looks like his special teams grades were really, really solid. And like you guys pointed out, Respect Orange just points out here with the RAS, 9.5, pretty solid right there, Emilio.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at the tackling grade. Looks like he's pretty sure tackling besides this last year where he had, maybe an injury or something. But if he was drafted in the 6th round in 21, I would think Goody probably had a 5th or 6th, round grade on the dude and was willing and able to, hey, if he ever pops up, put that one over in the corner in the safe bank. And if he ever pops up, let's see if we can't bring him in. And, he kept his eye on him for the next couple of years. It's just crazy to think about that. Like, drafts 5 years ago, they're still eyeing a couple players that they had later on in that draft, in the 200th picks that they still think might be somebody that checked, how they're doing in the past couple of years, and bam, dude comes available, you bring him on. But I think you're relying a lot on, Rich Bisaccia there, who's going to need a couple more linebacker bodies in special teams aspects, kickoff coverage, all that stuff. So I think it's probably the right move.
Yeah, Tim, the special teams grades here starting in 2021, and you see significant snaps here, over 300 for 3 years, and then 288 last year. But the PFF grades starting this rookie year, 81, 70, 83, 79. We got a special teams ace, looks like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just that 70 grade in 2022 is quote unquote a down year, right? I mean, everything else looks pretty consistent, and it just goes to show that, we can have our opinions and our feelings, and, this coaching staff and this front office is going to evaluate things differently. I think a lot of us thought Christian Welch would be that guy, for sure. But clearly this was a move that they felt like needed to be made. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in green and gold, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jacob. If you got any other comments, I'm going to try to grab his RAS and just throw it in this article real quick as well.
Yeah, I saw that Tool for this came out and said it's been 6 minutes into the episode and we haven't talked about Matt LaFleur's mustache. Emilio brought it up in the chat, the group chat. So let's just highlight that thing is beautiful. Donovan Schilling says Matt LaFleur got that stash from the AFM store. Shake my head. So that's the only.
Sit your butt outside.
Nick Swain says LaFleur looking like he's not allowed within 500 yards of a school zone.
I think he had a pretty good, clean Burt Reynolds look going. I could imagine if he kept the beard all shaved down and stuff, probably looked pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
we gotta get you to do that, Jacob. Just leave the stash.
Years ago, my friend. It I was having to push the ladies off too often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that.
I couldn't walk down the street.
Yeah.
Jacob,
did you also Burt Reynolds? You do the Raleigh fingers, right? You twist it up, give him a little
wax in there.
Eric called out your beard, Jacob, and said that he's got a better one than yours.
Eric Sutherland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I cannot get this updated quick enough to get off of this topic. Okay. It is now updated. Yeah. So the RAS, this looks like an older RAS car we got here, but it looks like a 951 is what it's showing here. So really, really fast, man. 4.540, 20-yard split scored a 9.45. The 10-yard split scored a 9.63. Shuttle as well, an 8.25, and then his 3-cone scored a 9.92. So you're talking about a guy he's got burst, he's got quickness, he's got top end speed. He's also got the ability to change direction for sure. So that is the Green Bay Packer. So, all right, let's move it along here. Some other stuff. Matt Schneidman had tweeted this out earlier today. Packers didn't claim anybody and didn't have anyone they claimed. I seen somebody asking about Amar Johnson. I was curious about that as well. So they do not have Amar Johnson on the practice squad. They did keep Izzy, though. So I was completely wrong with that. I really felt like Amar Johnson played much better than Izzy. But it looks like Abanikanda is going to be the practice squad running back as of the time being. Not to say they won't bring him in later here. As coach said, I wonder why they did not keep Amar Johnson. I haven't heard. Maybe there's an injury or something. Maybe you guys have heard, but I personally haven't heard anything like that yet.
The only thing I can think of is maybe Izzy has an edge in the return game. We've seen him return. I was going to say, so special teams contribution on top of being an emergency running back.
Yeah, I thought I read something about this. As Bahan says, Amar Johnson went to be with his family. I think there was something about it. I thought it was an injury, but I'll see if I can find it real quick just to keep you all.
He says parents were sick, so
that's what it was.
supporting
Okay,
family right now.
There you go. How about that, man? You get your opportunity to play professional football, and hey, look, man, mom and pops ain't feeling good. I'm gonna go take care of that. You know what I mean? It says a lot about that.
It's like Vince Lombardi said, right? God, family, and then the Green Bay Packers, right?
Right. Or as Jacob says, God, family, beard oil, then the Green Bay Packers. You know what I'm saying? Right, Jacob? You use any beard oil on that? Is that true or no?
I used to have my own company, but yeah, then COVID happened and nobody wanted to buy stuff through the mail to put on their face. Go figure. But yeah, I used to use beard oil all the time. Now I use
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Tay told him, Jacob didn't.
Should have known.
Should have known.
Should have known.
My daddy liked that years ago on the Cadillac.
Well, did you see Willie Lampkin got picked up by the Eagles? Pull that back up, Clay.
Oh, I done closed it out.
Okay. Well, yeah, the Chargers got him, right? So Eagles picked him up, of course. That little 5'10" center.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we pick up Kennard and they pick up him.
Last I heard, he was having a good preseason, I thought. But
yeah, I thought he was grading out really well.
Yeah. All right, Matt Schneidman also says, don't expect Kalen King back on the practice squad. He'll probably look elsewhere. So that tells me Matt Schneidman talked to either Kalen King or his representation. Sounds like he might have been a little bit sour on that. Now, he did go to Carolina, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what somebody just said, yeah. So he ends up with the Carolina Panthers. So even though they did sign him, you know, I'm sure he could have chose multiple practice squads. It sounded like, according to Matt Schneidman, he did not want to be with the Packers. So probably a little bit upset he didn't make the roster there. Listen, I get it. I understand. I felt like he did enough to make the roster. You guys know how I felt about Kalen King. That was kind of my surprise, was that he did not make it. So what we got here? I'm afraid to read that. I just seen meme. But anything you guys want to add to the Kalen King conversation here? Am I the only one that caught off guard?
A little bit. I was too. We talked about that in the group text earlier too, right? You know, and if that's the case, I think there's some evidence to support the fact that, you know, maybe Kalen, as well as a lot of us, felt like he earned a spot on that 53, and maybe getting the snub was enough to just kind of piss him off. And if he's a little salty right now and doesn't want to be here, then I'm glad he signed in Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's just time to move on. Obviously, we feel pretty good about Micah Robinson being a practice squad guy. So, you know, Kalen King not being on the squad is a little shocking, but, you know, I don't know if they've got other plans and, you know, or they wanted to bring him back and he had an attitude issue, you know, or felt like he was snubbed. Hey, then let him move on. Right.
Packers on top said the last name King gave the franchise PTSD, obviously, from Kevin King. Drew D in the chat says, I don't mind what the Packers did at corner. Yeah, I really don't either, you know. And we haven't gotten the updated depth chart from our lads yet. I checked earlier, and so it hadn't been updated since yesterday. But how do y'all feel about that?
I also think they went with the size upside of Kamal Hadden as 6'1" over.
I think
being at a rough 5'11".
Yeah, I think what Brian Ellis says is pretty key here too. He says King plays slot, Hadden plays more outside. That's the difference.
But King didn't even play that much. He only played like 50 snaps in college. I mean, I think they maybe asked him to do a little bit more in the offseason, or, you know, in this preseason, but that's tough.
Yeah, the other thing we heard too is the speed, that compared to the other corners in the room, he's not quite as fast. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So there you go. Kalen King is out. It was fun while it lasted, right? So let's talk about the practice squad. This is the last I heard. And Easton Butler put this tweet out, which everybody go give him a follow, man. Great follow over on X. Give you no nonsense, good information all dead time at Easton. at Easton __ Butler. So this was as of 2:42 today. If you guys know of anything different, let me know. But full Packers practice squad quarterback Clayton Tune. This one caught me off guard. We were all going, will it be Elgersma? Will it be Sean Clifford? It ain't going to be either. They went out and got Clayton Tune, obviously, who's been around the league for, I believe, a few years now, right? How many years has he been in the league?
I believe it's 3.
I thought it was 2.
Third season. This is his 3rd year.
I think so, yeah.
So quarterback Clayton Tune will be your practice squad QB for the time being. We'll see how that goes. Running back Izzy Abanaconda. Then you got wide receiver McCole Hardman. So we got Hardman back, baby. I love that. Absolutely love it. The fact that you could activate him on game day and get him up as a kick returner. If you do get in trouble at wide receiver, I feel really good about him being the 7th wide receiver on this roster. Emilio, he's a nice one to have just locked and loaded in the chamber there in case you need it, right, man? You want to pop in some speed on Madden, you still got him on the practice squad.
Absolutely. It's real quick to pull him up. You get it 3 times a year. That's a no-brainer at that point. If you can make that happen, I'm glad it worked out the way they planned it.
Yeah, and as Coach Lynn pointed out, Clayton Tune played with Golden at the university.
And he got drafted in 23. Tune did.
I think they said, I read a stat that they had 7 touchdowns together. He'd throw 7 touchdowns to Matthew Golden. So that's really, really interesting for sure. So very, very interesting signing there. So again, McCole Hardman, wide receiver. You also got wide receiver Isaiah Nair. Love that. And then look at your boy, Tim, wide receiver Will Shepherd on the practice squad.
Colorado Buffaloes, baby. Let's go.
Jacob, what do you think about those 3 wide receivers, man? Is there somebody you would have rather them have, or do you feel good about those 3 on the practice squad?
No, honestly, I didn't think this. We talked yesterday. I thought it was Tim made me pick 2 players that I wish I could sneak on, and I said Nair and Shepard. I never thought that we'd actually get McCole Hardman back on a practice squad. So the 3 of them together, I mean,
3 receivers on the practice squad is kind of a surprise, right?
Yeah, but as when we cover down the future in this episode, there may be a reason for that. But it's just nice to know that in case we have to break glass, and in case of emergency, that we've got some guys that I've actually shown quite a lot of flashes, especially one that has a lot of experience, which is something not a lot of teams probably have the luxury of.
No, I completely agree there, man.
I'm sure down the stretch, you're not going to feel bad about having McCole Hardman, within your locker room, right?
Yeah,
definitely. Moving along, offensive tackle, they went with Brant Banks and Dalton Cooper. Love the fact that Brant Banks made it to the practice squad. Again, I thought he showed a lot of promise in preseason, so that's one we kind of talked about a little bit yesterday. Emilio, how do you feel good? How do you feel about those tackles? Are you good with that? Do you wish they had signed someone else, or is it kind of odd that we only have 2 offensive linemen on the practice squad, seeing that we only carried 9 on the active roster, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. I'll just say, Goody, first thing he said was, it was tough that we lost Glove. I'm just he was going to be an important part for the team there. I don't
remember hearing that.
He did. I wrote it down in my notes.
I needed to mention that. So it was a tough that we lost my man. But I think you're right. You're kind of diving into the tackle a little bit. Just on rotation, can they flex? Can they play in the guard? And I think that we've got enough. That's why you kind of keep Donovan Jennings in there, more the inside guy. So you want to have a little bit more backup at tackle, just in case of injury or anything like that. But hopefully that means good things for, Aaron Banks, so that his back is in good shape and the inside's kind of in good shape as well.
Got it. All right. Up next, defensive line. Tim, we kept Deslin Alexander, James Esther, and Aaron Mosby. I know we had talked about
yes. Let's go.
I know you were excited about Deslin Alexander, right? He seemed to have a good camp while you were over there, and what you've seen. You feel pretty good about that?
Actually, I got to give the credit to my wife. Mrs. G was the one who said, what's up with 49 over here? Looks pretty good. And we've been watching him ever since. Jacob was at the game with us, on Saturday. We saw it, up close and personal. I think he definitely deserves a spot on this practice squad for sure.
Gotta love our viewers, man, our listeners. Bringing the important facts here. Brian Ellis in the chat says, I think he meant not Neiman, right? Neiman, does he get an N or no? It doesn't, right? Neiman comes from a football family. His dad was Lucas Van Ness's position coach at Iowa. Learned that today and thought it was neat. That's a great factor. So really, really cool. Again, we're building a team, not collecting talent, right? So important to get these guys in there. They're going to have a little bit invested in each other and want to play for one another and have these personal ties, whether it be half the damn teams from Georgia or, in this case, you get a couple Hawkeyes. Really cool. So Schefter sucks, not an insider, says shocked that Mosby and Alexander didn't get claimed.
It's Schlefter.
Yeah, I believe that's Elijah Gwynn's new.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Elijah got.
Oh, that's the one who started all that drama last night.
That was hilarious, man. The chat lit up. Michael Parsons is a Packer. I was like,
I love it.
It's happening.
That's a great point on the comment, though, right? Kind of surprised that at least one of those 2 didn't get claimed. That's awesome.
Another,
They both cleared.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And just real quick, back to Dalton Cooper. He was a 206.7 on the board, East-West Shrine game, cheese emoji, and a target emoji.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. I think we're on to something with that draft board, boys.
That is.
We don't have that picture anymore, though.
Which one?
The picture of Cooper.
No, wasn't that Bay? Wasn't he the center from Arkansas State?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Yeah.
How about this guy?
No.
No, he was trying to move that guy.
How about this guy?
Here's the guy.
That's the man right there.
Man, somebody get that guy some clippers, man.
That's going to be the go-to response for me for anything the Packers put up about Matthew Golden.
Is it just me, or does that look like a young version of Craig's dad on Friday? Yeah. Anybody take a stinking?
Oklahoma
It's going to
State.
be me. All right, moving along. Linebacker Jamin Johnson and our boy Christian Welch. Really excited about that, man. I think Christian Welch is going to get called up a couple times this year. So I feel good about those. Was there a linebacker that maybe caught us off guard? Do you think we made a mistake not bringing Isaiah Simmons onto the practice squad? Because me personally, I just never seen it, man. I just didn't. And I wanted it. I wanted it to work, man. Anytime you get a chance to get a top 10 pick for a minimum contract, you feel good about it, but it was rough.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like Tim said, we saw him in person on Saturday, and it just kind of seemed underwhelming. And I actually, I've been kind of more impressed with Jamon Johnson than I thought I'd be. He hasn't, been flashy and hasn't really gotten his name called a lot, but he just seems like he's a guy that could maybe come in there and maybe impress people, not maybe right away, but just like Packers on top saying, Jamon Pop Dumas Johnson, my Kentucky legend. So
There you go, man. Love it. All right, DBs, Jalen Simpson and Jonathan Baldwin. Emilio, how do you feel about that, man?
I like Baldwin. I'm glad we brought him back. More of a safety, right? But I do like that move. And Jalen Simpson, hopefully that he can keep showing out. I think it might have been Omar if he was healthy, but hope he gets better. We didn't need to go crazy. I think it's better to have a backup safety or two because we have everything else going on in the corner room with 6 of them in there. I think you're kind of, and we're going to have 3 of our safeties on the field most of the time. So you're going to want to have a little bit of backup there.
I agree.
Yeah, 2-0 for this says the name Jamin makes me think of Rush Hour. Jamin Lee. I'll think about what Rush Hour. Wasn't that the one where they had the little Asian dude that said, "It's fried rice, you blick"?
yes.
That thing? God, it's such a good movie, man. Such a good movie. So, and a shout out to Jerry. Left a YouTube comment after the show yesterday and was like, she agreed with Jacob. Clayton has got to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So,
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right. And then, of course, we got Mark McNamee as the international pathway player. All right. Now, he did denote this is not official, but reported. So we'll keep our eye on this. I think there's a chance that, God, who was the DB we just got through talking about? Micah Robinson. If you could have Micah Robinson on this practice squad within 24 hours instead of a Jalen Simpson or a Jonathan Baldwin, I'm going with that personally.
Yep.
But I don't know how y'all feel about that. I would much rather see him replace one of those 2 DBs in that regard. So
I agree 100%. And if Omar Brown was in better physical condition, we might be having a different conversation about that extra safety, right? So I would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. J. Cole in the chat says, "Funny you seen Friday before Ferris Bueller's Day." Hey man, I had a couple.
That's my job.
Had a couple buddies growing up back home, small town, but we they were brothers, and they were like, "Your white ass ain't never seen a movie like this. We need to sit down. We need to watch Friday." It's exactly what they said, and I was hooked. Such a good movie. One of my top 5 movies, man.
Classic.
Absolutely. Ferris Bueller's becoming popular too recently.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
That movie's older than you, Emilio. How have you seen it before Clayton? That's
a classic. Yeah. That is
Yeah. Another one everybody tells me to watch is, oh God, what is it? Trying to think. What's the name of it? It's a comedy about knights.
A Knight's Tale?
No, not a Knight's Tale there, buddy.
Night at the Roxbury?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're off track for sure. It'll come to you.
It's the one with Jack Black, isn't it?
No, it's not. There's a scene where a knight gets like all of his. It's merely a flesh wound. What's the name of that?
Oh,
Mighty
Python.
Monty Python. The throw for this got it. Yeah, everybody's
come
like,
on.
you gotta watch that. I still haven't seen it. So
Oh my! You and Mandy, this Labor Day weekend, you two need to have a movie day and catch up on some of these.
Mandy's probably seen all these. She probably has. Like when she says I'm a stick in the mud, she is not kidding. Now Carl Ward's on one right here. Harlem Night.
Yeah,
another one, dude.
Classic.
Top 10, maybe top 5. Yeah.
You want to see a movie with like some of the greatest comedians of all time, all in one cast? Watch Harlem Nights for sure.
Better watch it quick. You with a heavyweight.
You just go shoot me in my pinky toe, huh?
Go ahead. The way he looks at everybody, they go, all right. Don't worry, Vera. We're going to find your toe. Have you seen it, Emilio?
No.
Harlem Nights.
Oh, my gosh.
It's been a while, but it's good.
Oh, it's so good, man. Yeah, so good. My brother came in on military leave from Iraq, or not Iraq, but Saudi Arabia in the early 90s. And he was like, you want to sit down and watch a funny movie with me? Yep, it was Harlem Nights. So I was like 9 years old. It was awesome. Unbelievable. So, all right. There you go.
You are a sick man. No Country for Old Men is pretty funny. Wait a minute.
Jeez.